Come back to my classes. We'll go for our next topic. So we have learned the different means the types of design patterns and the relationship between the design pattern, everything we have studied in the previous classes. Now we'll go for the next one, that is how design patterns solve design problems. Okay, so we are going to ask the question to ourselves, how it is going to solve. So what are all the criteria it is going to consider while solving the problems. Okay, so when you are designing something, some problems or solution to some problems, you need to ask this question to yourself, how I am going to solve that problem. So what are all the things I need to consider, what are all the characteristics I need to consider, so what are the point I need to remember in order to solve this particular problem. So all this I need to consider, right? In the same way, we have got a question, how design patterns solve the design problems. Okay, so we'll see one by one how it is going to solve. Okay, so very first one, he has given finding appropriate objects. So first of all, we need to know how to find the objects. So in each and every classes in object oriented programming language, we will be having the object in the classes. Finding out the object in the classes is a big task. Okay, so that is why I have taken here as a points methods and the client. Okay, so methods are nothing but the operations, you can tell, right? Operations you can tell it as a procedure, or you can tell it as a function in case of a procedure oriented language, means in a C language you are going to call it as a functions, right? So here I am going to name it as a methods, operations and procedures and so on. So you have different names for the same thing. So here method, it going to contain the details, what are all the things I need to do. So here client means client is the person who is going to request the services, right? So this client person, when he is going to request something, the object created within a class is going to accept that client request and he is going to perform actions using this methods. Okay, so using the methods he is going to attain that request submitted by the client. Okay, so here the object is a person who is going to accept the requests from the client. Means for example, I may request to display the elements, I may request to traverse the elements that is present in the list, I may search an element. So you may be having different methods, functions, right? So the same way the client client is nothing but a user who is going to request, who is going to means you just wanted to open the file, so that is also a request. So that request will be taken up by the object, and that object is going to be perform the activities with respect to the methods or operations that is present. So that means class contains the procedures, it contains the methods, it contains the data. So it contains data part, it contains the procedure part. You can just see here, this is a diagram I have written for another topic, but you can use the same notations. So you will be having a class. Okay, so you will be having the operations, means operations are nothing but the functions, methods that can be used. Okay, and within that I have written instance variable 1, and you can also write n numbers of variables, right? So an abstract view or just an outline of the class look like this. So it contains a class name, it contains the operations, it contains the variables or a data that can be used, right? So that is also I am going to consider here. So that is finding appropriate object, means it is going to find out the particular object, and that particular object how it is going to work with respect to the client request. So for that I have taken a example of the design pattern, that is a strategy and the state design pattern. So towards the finding of the appropriate objects, so you are going to use the strategy. Strategy, what it's going to do, I have explained in the previous class only. So it contains the collection of algorithms, so and it uses according to that algorithm or according to the problem situation, it is going to find out the particular algorithm. So that is why the strategy algorithm is used or a design pattern is used. So this strategy design pattern, it helps you to find out the particular object in order to achieve the client request. Okay, so supporting a design pattern I have written here. and the state. So state design patterns, the example which I have written, everything I explained. So design patterns example. So state, so this state, it is going to tell you without exposing the internal state. Okay, internal state of an object means the complete hidden information, so that will be hidden there itself, and it is going to expose only the the data which is to be given to other classes. It is going to maintain the privacy, and it is also going to provide the information for other classes. So keeping in that up, so state design pattern, it is going to think in such a way that the privacy related or hidden information will be retained as it is, as a encapsulation format, and the remaining things which need to be exposed will be exposed always. So that is applicable by the state design patterns. So that is the first topic, that is how to find the appropriate object. So means within the main topic, how design patterns solve the design patterns. So first thing it is going to consider in finding out the objects, and coming to the second one, that is determining the object granularity. So granularity is nothing but how the size of the objects varies, the number of object varies. So that is I have written here the size and the number. Okay, so this point focuses on the number of objects that is present and the size of the object that is present. Okay, so means when you are going to create the object oriented program, it contains a huge number of objects and the classes, right? So it is a combination. When you are designing a software and you are finding a solution for the problem, so that is nothing but through a solution on through a software only you are going to provide the solution, right? So software is nothing but a collection of programs. So each program contains the classes, objects. So just imagine how much of objects will be there. So in order to find out that granularity, means that is size. Okay, granularity is nothing but the respect to the number and the size of the objects present. So that is you are going to find it out. So for that I have written example as a facet design pattern, flyweight design pattern, and the abstract factory. All this I have explained in the previous classes only. So facet design pattern, what it is going to give you, it is going to maintain all the objects that is created. So all objects which are being created by the classes will be having with this facet design patterns. And then flyweight, so it contains the interfaces for those objects. So that flyweight design pattern, it contains all the interfaces relevant to the objects. And abstract factory, it contains the informations. So the complete informations, that is only the abstract, means it contains complete internal informations. So it is not going to provide you the implementation details. The abstract meaning itself tells you. So abstract class, abstract function or methods you will be knowing. So abstract means it is not going to give you the implementation details. It going to give you the prototypes. Okay, definition it is going to tell you. So using that you need to achieve. So that is what he is going to tell. So it is going to give you the prototype, and based on that you need to find out the size and the number of the objects. So that is it is going to focus. Second point. And coming to the specifying object interfaces, third you are going to consider in order to find out the design patterns. So that is specifying the object interfaces. So in this one, it is going to find out the interfaces that can be achieved, or the number of interfaces that can be available in the design patterns, in programs, in classes, and in objects. So interfaces will be having two types, class interfaces and the object interfaces. We need to find out, or we need to categorize the class interfaces into one type and the object interfaces into another type, and we need to get on with their communication part also, which object is communicating with which another object, which class is communicating with which another class. So that all considers with respect to the interfaces. So that is what it is going to specify. So it is going to include all the interfaces that is going to be occur. And for that I have written a signature as a point here. So signature means, so you will be knowing in a function. So here I got a signature for a function. So what is that signature? Signature means the function or a method or an operation that contains the name of a method. Okay, so name of a method, within that you will be having the parameters, the type of a parameter, and then you are going to mention the return type of a function also, right? So all this together give rise to the name called the signature. Okay, so signature is nothing but the type of a function, function name, the number of parameters passed to a function, the type of a parameters. So all together we are going to call it as a signature. Okay, so that is going to be fetched out with the specifying the object interfaces point. So what are all the design pattern which is going to achieve this one? That is the memento. Memento design pattern is going to allow you to fetch the interfaces that is respect to a particular design patterns and particular problems with respect to the same classes and the objects. So here memento, it is going to encapsulate all the internal contents and it is going to externalize the same as a state design pattern, but bit variation is there. So you may be asking why you have a same design pattern when they have a same functionalities, right? So slight difference is there in their implementations, but the definitions remains close enough. So here memento, it is going to externalize the object implementation for a bit while. So it is going to give some amount of details to classes, other classes. Okay, so and some more are there. Some more design pattern can also be used with respect to finding out the object interfaces. That is, you can use the proxy, you can use the decorator design pattern for this finding out the interfaces. Why? Because I told you decorator design pattern, it is going to be used in order to design the web pages. Okay, so web pages are to attract the websites or so on. So your software should look attractive, right? So front end design, to make it attractive, you can use the decorative design pattern. So where it allows you to design the tabs. Okay, so within a tabs, how you need to arrange the icons, the coloring of the icons or the placement of icons, how to use the drop down buttons and so on. So layout of that particular forms or complete designs of the website. So everything concerns with respect to the design pattern, that is a packet design pattern. And then coming to this one, so it is going to use the memento. Okay, proxy, I told you proxy also. So proxy design pattern, I told you it is going to be a surrogate. So means with respect to the original, so we will be not be having the original particular object or a class, and we are going to use the proxy design pattern in place of that particular original classes or objects. So that is what it is going to achieve with respect to the interfaces. So with respect to this point, you have got memento and then the decorator and the proxy design pattern. So 3 design pattern can be helpful. And coming to the specifying object implementation. So object implementation, so you need to consider object implementation also while designing the solution for the particular problem. So that is giving the design patterns also consider with respect to the implementation details. So how it is going to consider? So before that, you need to know what is a class, what is a object, right? So class is nothing but it is an entity. So where you are going to create means within a class you will be having a data, it contains the procedures that I explained with this diagram, right? So you all know that concept, basics. And the object, it is an instance of a class, right? So that is what I have represented here, and you can just see I have written OMT, that is a object modeling technique, object modeling technique. So you are going to use this object modeling technique, so where it is a representation of classes and the object with a rectangular process like this. So OMT representation we are going to call it as. So here you have got a class name, within that class name you can just see operations are there. I have written with the open and the close parenthesis. So operation 1, operation 2, so on, you can give n numbers of operations. So here I have given a type of operation also. So the means you can mention the return type in float of a particular operation, that is a functions, and within that you can just see instance variable 1. So I have put a dot here, so you can include n numbers of variables, instance 1, instance 2 and so on. So instance variables are nothing but the objects, you can tell. So it is going to have a object created for particular classes, right? So here coming to this part, so I have written something, you can just see here, instantiator, okay, and instantiating. Okay, so what is this one? So the instantiator is nothing but a class who is going to instantiate the object. So that object is known as a instantiatee. Okay, so that is what I have written. So class is going to means is going to invoke or is going to create a object. So for particular classes we will be having the object creations, right. So that object creation, it is going to point for the operations or data members that is present within a class, and it is going to act upon that operations and with using that data present, right. So that is what we are going to learn with respect to the classes and the objects, right. So you need to consider how we are going to implement. So that is why I told you this basics. Okay. So moving forward, you have got some more examples. We'll see that also. See, in the previous example, I shown you how to implement the class and the objects with a diagrammatic representation, that is the OMT, right. So with continuation with that one, you have got the some more diagrams. So I have written here parent class, and you can just see here it is having some subclass. Okay. So what is this concept? So what this diagram is telling you? So this diagram is focusing on which concept of the OOPS, that is the inheritance, right. So it is going to tell us this is a inheritance concept, right. Means you have a subclass, okay, so child class, so or a derived class, so which is going to derive from a parent class. So you can just see here parent class contains some operations here. So there may be n numbers of operations. So we'll focus what is this inheritance means in the before topic. So what was the heading? So we need to focus on the implementation also, right. So with the implementation you come across what is a class, what is a object. So how to create a object of a particular class, that is the instantiator. So that we studied, right. So further he has explained some more concepts of the OOPS, that is the inheritance, abstract classes, concrete classes, and so on. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So first one is a inheritance he has given with the example that is a diagram. So here parent class is a one, means the parent. Okay, so who is going to have functionalities, operations, data. Okay, so that data, that functionalities can be derived from the child classes or a children. So same as a general meaning. So that you can derive your ancestor properties or a parent properties, right. So you can inherit all or you can inherit few, right. So according to your wish. So here the subclass is exposed to the parent class elements that is present here. Means it is going to violate the actually encapsulation meaning. So why? Because the parent class will be exposed, right. So it will be containing the hidden informations, all the details. So those all can be accessed by the subclass. So subclass is nothing but a child class or a children. So who is going to be deriving the informations, or it can even add up the functionality, new functionality even it can add up. So if it want, it can means if it want, it can retain the features of the parent class also, and if it wants, it can add up the new features also. So inheritance allows you to use the reuse the concepts. So instead of writing new things, so you can use your parents functionalities and incorporate your own designs into it. So that will be the means it is going to give you the concept of reuse in the object oriented programming, right. So that is very important definition you will be studying in means you have come across in the your lower classes, right. So that is a inheritance. And then coming to this diagram, so your abstract class, okay, so operations is there. So you can just see concrete subclasses and some operation. So that is implementation details. Okay. So here what is this one? So abstract class. So abstract class means it doesn't contain any implementation details. So it contains only the means prototyping. So means you cannot actually, so means complete internal implementation details will not be maintained. When you are going to mention abstract for a function or for a class or anything like that, so it is not going to allow you to get the implementation details, right. So that is what he has taken. So here abstract class contains the operations. So within that you have got a concrete subclasses, that is the class which is going to derive from the abstract classes, and then you can just see the operations with respect to the concrete subclasses. It is having the implementation implementation part. That is, the implementation part is nothing but it contains a pseudo coding, means it not contain complete implementation part, complete coding it does not contain. So it contains only the pseudo codes, means some algorithmic notations, right. So that is how we are going to represent what is the abstract classes and the concrete classes. Okay, so in the same way you have some more class, that is in continuation to the previous diagrams, so you have got one more diagram. So that is you have got some existing class and you have mixing class. So within that you have the respective operations. So that is existing operations, mixing operations, and then you can just see you have got some more class, that is the augmented class. Within that you have combination of these two, that is existing and the mixing operation. So in the previous diagram we come across the abstract classes and the concrete classes, right. So abstract is nothing but it is not going to give the implementation details, and then the means the concrete is nothing but so it is, which is not abstract, is known as a concrete classes, right. So here we are going to see existing classes and the mixing classes. So mixing classes is nothing but so it is going to give you the intended or extra functionalities. So it is going to provide you the extra functionalities or extra interfaces. So that is known as a mixing class. Existing class may be any parent class or any other upper classes. Okay, so using those two classes you are going to form a augmented class. Okay, so this existing class may be any of the upper classes, parent classes, or any derived classes that is derived further with the augmented classes. Okay, so mixing class is the one who is going to have or who is going to provide the external interfaces or external functionalities. Okay, so that is all the basics of the implementation. So means in the previous topic, so how we are going to implement, so that was the topic, right. So under that only we are studying all this. So means class, object, how to create the object, so what is the inheritance, what is abstract class, what is a concrete class, and then so what is existing, what is a mixing class, what is a augmented class. Okay, so we'll move to the next point. So next is a class versus interface inheritance. So class versus interface inheritance means you have got two types of interfaces, inheritance, that is class inheritance and the interface inheritance. In a class inheritance, you know, so that is a parent class and you will be having a subclass is going to derive from the parent class. So that concept you know. So here you have come across one more, that is a interface inheritance, right. So we will see what is this one. So I have written object interface is nothing but a class interface. So here object means it is going to accept the client request and it is going to act upon using the operations functions that is within a classes, right. So and it is going to perform activities. So it is going to act upon those concepts, means that particular data and the operations. So after that, so it can be used by the derived classes, means through the inheritance concept they can access the functionalities that is being designed in the parent classes. And the same way interface inheritance, so it is going to provide you the concepts. So it means it is going to provide you the way, so it is a channel, so where you are going to access the elements or an objects in place of the others. So using the interface inheritance you can use the object in place of other objects. Okay, so you can replace actually. So it contains actually prototyping, it is not completely going to give you the just like in a class inheritance. So it is not so. So interface inheritance is different. So it contains the methods within it, means abstract methods within it. So you can actually give the implementation for that one. So that is the difference between these two. And then coming to the last point, that is a programming to an interface, not an implementation. So actually we need to have a interface programming. So instead of giving a complete implementation. So if we have a neat interface design, so it can be used in other platforms also. So if we are having the means a neat connection, means one object is connecting with another object with a neat interfacing. So with a class interfacing or a class inheritance, so that is more useful instead of giving the deep implementation. So means portability is good if you are having the that is interfaces, means a neat interfaces. So for that I have written, so what will be the class inheritance, so how it is going to override the operations. So when you have a class inheritance, so it will be means inherited to a subclasses, right? So maybe the all features or some of the features it is going to be inherited in a subclasses, or you can even design your own design, that I told you in the previous sentences, right? So here I have written overrides the operation, means the definition, the functionalities that is written in a parent class can be overridden in the child class, in a subclass, in a derived classes. So I can change the implementation details that is given in a parent class, right? So that is what he has given, means if you have a well designing of the interfaces, that is more helpful so to get connected with the parent class and the subclasses instead of giving the more and implementation details. Okay, so that is the topic, how design patterns solve the design problems. So we have come across the few points and we have discussed how it is going to focus on the problems and then how it is going to give the solutions. Okay, so now we will see the next topic, that is putting reuse mechanisms to work. Next topic is putting reuse mechanisms to work. Means how we are going to reuse the concept, existing concepts, and then we are going to reuse it. Okay, under that we have got few topics. So first one is inheritance versus the composition. Okay, so we'll see what is this inheritance composition. So you will be knowing completely what is inheritance. So I have already told. So inheritance is nothing but the deriving the features from a parent classes, right? That is nothing but a inheritance, and already I mentioned, so inheritance allows you for the reuse concept. So the same meaning here also I am going to focus, and this is a new topic actually, composition. So here composition means it is an object composition which composes the objects together, and it is going to perform the activity together using the interfaces in between. Okay, so we'll see what is this one. So in the inheritance, so this I am going to write it as a white box. Okay, I am going to denote inheritance as a white box. Why? Because inheritance is going to be means exposing the details of the parent class to a derived classes. So there is no hiding of data there. So it completely exposes the data to a derived classes or a subclasses or to a children, right? So then it is going to be denoted as a white box. I can say everything. So but in a composition it is going to be deal with the interfaces. Okay, so it is not going to expose the implementation details. It is going to act with respect to the interfaces. So means it is going to provide only the abstracts. So in that case, so I am going to denote this composition as a black box. Okay, so this white box is I am going to denote it as a inheritance concept. Why? Because there is no hidden informations present over there, since you have given chance to your child or a derived classes to access the things that is present within you. So then I am going to denote it as a white box. Whereas in a composition which contains the objects, huge objects will be composed using the interfaces. So where it is not going to allow you to use that particular implementation, that how you are going to provide in inheritance. So that is why I am going to denote it as a black box. Okay, so means the details will be hidden. Okay, so that is the difference between this inheritance composition. Okay. And I have written here the inheritance has got some disadvantages. So the same disadvantages stands with respect to the advantages of the this compositions. Okay, so we'll see what are the disadvantages of this inheritance. So very first one I have written, it is going to be deal with the compile time. So it is going to be done, or inheritance, the changes or everything will be dealt with respect to the compile time. Okay, so it is not going to be in a run time. So we are going to inherit in a compile time, in static times. But in this one, this point I suggested in the previous only. So that is, it is going to break the encapsulation. It is going to violate the OOPS rules, that is the object oriented concept rules. So what is that one? So you are going to give the access for all the internal elements or functionality that is present within you for the derived classes. Then that is nothing but, so that breaks the encapsulation rule. Okay, so encapsulation is nothing but hiding the details, or it contains so binding of the details within you, and then it is not being exposed to other, right? So it is going to breaks that one, which is one, that is a inheritance. Okay, so coming to the advantages of the composition, I will make the advantages using this disadvantages only. So here the inheritance is going to focus on the compile time, right? So the vice versa, that is the ulta is composition, it is going to work with the runtime environment. Okay, so that is more helpful. And then coming to the breaks encapsulation, no, it's not going to break encapsulation. Why? Because it is going to act upon the interfaces. So it is going to act upon the interfaces. So how it can be exposed to the other elements. So that is why, so a composition is not going to violate the encapsulation rules. So it means it is going to act only with respect to the interfaces. You have one object uses the interfaces of another object, and it is going to get communicated with each other. So there is no matter of violating the encapsulation rule. So that is why I framed the disadvantages of a class inheritance and to advantages of the composition. Okay, so that is a one topic in a reuse mechanism. In the same way, you have got one more reuse mechanism, that is a delegation. So next point in the putting reuse mechanisms to work is a delegation. So in this delegation, so here the meaning of delegation is delegating a work. Okay, assigning a work to others. Okay, so with that general meaning, so we'll see. So I have given here. So why we need delegation? So this delegation makes the composition more powerful as a inheritance. So inheritance is a powerful, right? So in order to make the composition that we discussed in the previous, that is our inheritance versus composition, right? So in order to make that composition more powerful, this delegation is going to cooperate with the composition. So what it is going to do is, so it is going to contain two objects. So delegation contains two objects. One object is a receiving object, another object is a delegate, means the person who is going to receive the contents from this receiver. Okay, that is a delegate. So that is why I have written the delegation. So it is nothing but a powerful technique or a powerful topic where it is going to incorporate, or it is going to help the composition to make it more powerful than the inheritance. So you can make the composition more powerful using the delegation. Okay, so here it is going to have the two objects. One is a receiving object, another is a the receiving object is going to delegate the work to a delegate. Okay, so that is why I have written here one is a receiving object, and this receiving object is going to forward the requests or anything that comes across to this one to a delegate. Okay. So that's why the name is a delegation. He is not going to perform, this receiving object should perform the activities, right? So he is not going to perform any activity. He is going to delegate, or he is going to transfer to another object, that is a delegate. So that is why the name, that is a delegation. So we'll see the example. So I have written an example here with a diagram. So here I have taken two classes. So that is the window class and the rectangle class. So here actually I can make this window class as a subclass for this rectangle. Why? Because usually the windows will be in a rectangle shape. So I am talking about the house construction windows. Okay. So the window will be means the, like usually it will be in a rectangle. So that is why I can actually make this window as a subclassing for the rectangle class. Okay. So I am not doing like that. So what I am doing, I am going to keep the window aside and the rectangle class aside. So I am going to take that rectangle as within a window only. So I am going to create an instance. Okay, so that instance can be referred within a window itself. So I am going to assign that work to a window itself instead of deriving the functionalities from the rectangle to a window class. What I am doing, I am maintaining an instance in such a way that the rectangle contains within a window only. Okay, so means instead of parent and the child class relationship, so I am going to maintain a parallel connections here. So here whenever the work comes to a window, so for example any window width or to calculate the area, something like occurs. So what it is going to do, this window class is going to delegate the work to a rectangle. So automatically the rectangle is going to perform the means the calculation, that is a area operation using the width and the height. Okay, so that can be contained within the window itself. So that is how the delegation is going to work. So delegation is going to get a data or is going to receive a data and he is not actually going to perform any activity. See here, is not going to have any details. See here, width and the height, all the data variable information is present in the rectangle class. Okay, it's not present in the window class. So actually the inheritance concept is, so you have a rectangle class, within that you will be having a window, means window is going to derive from this rectangle. So you can calculate in your derived classes, but not that concept I am following. So I am going to contain this rectangle within a window itself, means the whatever the values that is coming, I am just forwarding to the rectangle class only. I am delegating the work to a rectangle class only. So it is going to find it out. Okay, so instead of calculating myself, I am going to delegate to a other class. So that is what the concept of a delegation. So delegation is going to forward or is going to assign the task to other object in order to achieve the task. That is nothing but the reuse concept. Okay, so one more mechanism in the reuse. Okay, in such a way you have got one more. So that is, so we have one more topic, that is the inheritance versus the parameterized types, right? So I told you all this concept. Inheritance I told you, I have discussed that one, and composition we have discussed, and yes, comparing this inheritance with respect to the parameterized types. So I'll not focus on this inheritance because we already come across so many times. So now we'll see this parameterized types. So parameterized types are nothing but the generics, and also I am going to denote it as a templates, generics and the templates. Why? Because it is just going to the templates, so means outline, prototyping. So where you can use the different parameters, type of a parameters, means you can change the signatures and you can keep the same template, right? The same way here parameterized types can also be used for the reuse mechanism. So what I am focusing is, so how to reuse the things, okay, putting reuse mechanisms to work. Under that we studied what is the inheritance. So inheritance can be used for the reuse purpose. The same way I discussed with the composition. So where it is also going to provide you the inheritance concepts only, but it is going to act with respect to the interfaces. And the last topic that is compared with the inheritance is a parameterized types. Parameterized types are nothing but the, that is complete the generics and the templates. So it is going to give you the prototypes. So using that prototypes, you are going to design with the parameters, different parameters, type of a parameters, the number of parameters. So everything can be changed. Same template you are going to use, but you are going to change with the values. So that is what the generics and the template is going to focus. So that is why I have written here, this parameterized type allows you to change the parameters within a classes, the types that can be changed with respect to the complete class parameters. So there you have got the differences between the means inheritance, composition and the parameterized types. So inheritance allows you to have a derivation from the parent class, so you can actually derive the features from your parent classes, right? In the same way composition, that is object composition, which allows you to have the group of objects connected together and they are communicating with respect to the interfaces usages. And then this parameterized types, so that is the generics and the templates, which is going to use the prototypes, template, skeleton. So using that skeleton you can actually reuse, means you can go on reusing that one only by changing the values, the types of the parameters. So within a class you can actually go with the different types changes in the parameters. Okay, so that is how the differences between the inheritance, parameters and the composition is going to work. All these three is going to use for the reuse mechanisms. Okay, so we'll stop here. I'll continue in the next class.